Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the latest episode in the Impact series hosted by 40. Today, delighted to have Yohan Francis here with me from Wunder Mobility. And Johan's a product owner over at Wunder Mobility. Johan, thanks for jumping on.
No worries. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak to you and your audience.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. So look, we always open this way, but Wunder Mobility, a company that I'm very familiar with, we're familiar with, but for those people that don't know you, don't know the company, can you tell us a bit about Wunder Mobility, the climate issue that you're helping to solve, and obviously and your solution to that problem as well, please?
Sure, yeah. So Wunder Mobility is a one-stop shop software, hardware provider for micromobility. So what we do is for operators that are interested in starting up or scaling up their micromobility service, we provide software. So that includes an operation management software and a mobile app, and a few other products that support that, for example, to connect to your vehicles. As well as the hardware itself. So we also offer a couple of co-developed vehicles, and we also resell vehicles that you can be used for any kind of sharing service, micromobility service, alongside with experience and support. So we have lots of customers around the world, and we've done this many times. So we focus on providing that software and hardware. As for the climate issue that we've focused on, it's all about improving congestion, reducing emissions, and tackling climate change.
Yeah.
Obviously, the more shared mobility you have on the roads, the less of all of that there is. And all of our customers have some sort of focus on electric mobility. When that way you're kind of reducing the amount of carbon emissions produced just to get people around a city. But on top of that, you've also got considerations like noise pollution and emissions and congestion that shared mobility tackles as well.
So we're talking about electric scooters, electric bikes. Is it electric mopeds as well?
Bikes, mopeds, got some cars as well.
Okay. Are they? And you said some of the vehicles are co-developed. Are they the cars? Are they co-developed, or is it the bikes and the mopeds that you've?
Yeah, it's the bikes that are our newest development with IDEA. They were co-developed based on our experience and feedback that we provide to IDEA. So we defined kind of the specifications. This is the market we're going into. These are our insights and experience, and our team here developed the e-bike, and it arrived. The first prototype models arrived earlier in the year, and now they're rolling out to a couple of customers, and it's in its initial testing phases.
Cool. So we're talking about so the kind of, I suppose not last mile, is it really, but the kind of the kind of at the end of someone's journey. So let's say they're commuting into London or Berlin or wherever.
Yep.
They get into the station, their last part of their journey, rather than taking a taxi or we're talking or driving for that journey, hopping on an e-bike, hopping on a scooter, and like you say, so helping to reduce congestion, reduce noise pollution, reduce emissions. So lots of really positives can come out of that. Obviously, shared mobility as well. We're kind of less ownership, so kind of more of a bit of a circular model there as well. So with rentals, as opposed to everybody needing to go out and buy new stuff the whole time. So we're touching lots of kind of different areas, aren't we? In Wunder Mobility.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in addition to just the shared mobility and the aspect of helping people move through the city in a more sustainable way. So instead of having just a personal car that will sit there for a long period of time, and then you'll get in the car with one person and spend all of that emissions just getting somewhere, you have the ability to use a shared scooter that is charged on renewable energy, by a service that is using renewable electric vehicles to maintain those vehicles as well.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you have the general operational efficiency as well of the economies of scale, basically, where you've got a company that can charge these vehicles, provide the electricity renewably, but also position the vehicles properly so that people can move in and out of transport hubs like train stations very efficiently.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And like you said, so it's a bit of a one-stop shop, right? So you're providing a platform, a service, mobile apps, back end support. So I suppose that you're kind of the behind the scenes operations for a lot of the companies that are operating in the micro-mobility space that we're probably all familiar with and all seen. So who are some of the customers? Who are some of the people that we probably, well, the viewers might have seen that work with Wunder Mobility, and then we might have seen their vehicles on the street?
I mean, at 40, but based around London, you would have definitely seen Human Forest. They're trialing actually our new e-bike at the moment.
Okay.
They're very focused on sustainability. They have these green e-bikes dotted around the streets of London.
Yeah.
They actually provide 10 free minutes for all of their customers, which means a lot of London's commuters have free sustainable travel for short-term distances,
Yeah.
which
Amazing.
makes a big difference in a city like London, where you're, relying on trains and public transport to get to that last
Yeah.
mile, like you mentioned earlier.
That
Having
last leg. Yeah.
have a bike is huge. So that's Human Forest. All of their services are also fully renewably charged and provided. They're service vans and electric bikes.
Yeah.
In addition to
Fantastic.
that, we've got Felix in the Netherlands, who are also a fairly large operator there. They're also now expanding out to Germany. We had them rolling out in Hamburg earlier this year, I believe, where it was quite nice to see our own software being used in action near the home office.
Cool. And this is it? I'm assuming it's not obviously exclusive to bigger operators like that. If there's anyone watching this has got their vision or their aim to kind of start a shared mobility service, is this the kind of an ideal route for them, like a shortcut to the kind of market? Come and use your services, Wunder Mobility, perhaps even I don't know if you do it lease or rent some of your bikes to start the service as well.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where I believe we can actually be really, really helpful, because we have a lot of experience with startups and smaller businesses that want to launch services like this. And because of that experience, we're able to really guide you and also provide a lot of what you need. So I already mentioned that we provide the software and the hardware, but on top of that, there are city regulations and things like that you need to take into consideration. So even though this feels like it has been around for a while, cities are kind of just catching up with what they need to do to regulate and manage all of these services. So you'll have invoicing regulations and regulations around, especially in Europe now, you have to provide certain data to the city so they can understand how these services are being used.
Right.
Cities will often also put on KPIs like your vehicles have to be used an X amount per day for your service to have a certain number of vehicles, to obviously prevent kick scooters just lying around the city unused.
Yeah.
So we have experience with a lot of regions as well, where we will be able to support and assist you in not just the software and hardware aspect, but just the setup and operations of setting up a business.
And is it just exclusive to the bigger city? Obviously, like we see all the the kind of the shared mobility services at any big city around Europe. But let's say the smaller provincial towns where perhaps there aren't many of these services. Is it something that if there was an entrepreneur watching this, that they could then go and set up in a town that doesn't have any of these services? Does it work like that, or is it mainly limited to the kind of major metropolitan hubs?
What we've seen now is also tourist hubs in addition to metropolitan hubs. So more remote areas where there is some element of tourist travel, where tourists will want to come in and jump on a scooter or an e-bike to get where
Right.
they need to go. So it's definitely not limited just to the
Cool.
busier urban areas.
Okay. Well, look, there's some pretty cool stats that we discussed before, Johan. So, I mean, look, in terms of the impact that you've already made and are making, 40 million rides that are shared rides, 50,000 connected vehicles, obviously on the platform, and you're active in over 200 cities, globally by the looks of it as well. So, some pretty impressive stats there. Already. What does the future look like for Wunder Mobility? What is the kind of, in the short, medium, long term?
Yeah, so at this point, I would say we've got the basic operations under control. So payment operations related to battery recharging, repositioning vehicles. These are all things like these are all problems that have, let's say, the naive solutions for them right now, the simplest solutions that work. I think the future for us will be, as we grow and experience more with all of our different operators around the world, to be fine-tuning and optimizing things to make them even more efficient and more sustainable, if that makes sense. So, for example, there's still some amount of waste produced by all of the consumables involved in micromobility. Batteries, for example,
Right.
have to be very carefully managed, and it's also one of the biggest capital investments businesses make is getting all of these batteries, installing them, recharging them, and then managing their health. So around that, for example, and just general operational efficiency, making sure you're producing as little waste as possible and maximizing everything you can.
Yeah.
Not just for revenue, but also for managing sustainable processes and
Yeah.
businesses.
Okay. Cool. Well, look, Johan, it's been a pleasure having you on. Talking about this kind of thing is something that I'm really passionate about and really enjoy speaking about. So hopefully you've enjoyed it as well, and hopefully the people at home have enjoyed it, learned a little bit about the what goes on behind the scenes when they're hopping on one of these scooters or one of the e-bikes around the cities that they're living in. So it's been a pleasure.
Not a problem at all, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.
Good stuff. Well, look, thanks, Johan. We'll speak soon.
Thank you very much.